And good evening and welcome to the GameFace MPNFL Footy Show. It is Division 2, proudly brought to you by OBrien Real Estate. With over 9 locations across the Mornington Peninsula, OBrien Real Estate will be able to achieve the best price for your sale or rental, backed by a myriad of experience. On the show tonight for Division 2, the final round of the regular season is here, and there's still a spot up for grabs in the finals. Peter Mawson joins us from Hastings, the 2016 Premiership star. He'll also talk about the retirement of one of the club's greats. Rising star Tom Hughes' heroics sent Ryan to 5th with a chance to break their finals drought, which stretches back to 2014. Lang Warren dominated Alexandra Park to record an 85-point thrashing of second place Mornington, and we have a look at which way results can go and who can make it. Let's welcome our team. Wayne Capp, good evening.
Hi, Dan.
Nice to have you with us, Cappy.
Yeah, glad to be back. It was an interesting round of football on the weekend.
It was a great round of footy.
Yeah, some predictable results and a couple of different results. I was surprised at Langy's big win. I thought that might have been a bit closer, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Hello, Chris Holcomb.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
Good.
What's happening?
Oh, plenty happening in the world of football at the moment. It was an interesting round, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, look, it sort of put to bed of what we thought. What we thought at the start of the year, that Langy sort of had that list that were a little bit above everyone. So now maybe psychologically they're going toward the finals. That 5th spot's amazing. Hats off to Rye. I really respect what they've done with the list that they've got and the wins that they've been able to chip off. They've been great. So no, I really enjoyed the weekend, actually.
Peter Mawson is our guest from the Hastings Footy Club. Welcome, Peter. Good to have you with us.
How are you, Dan? Good to be here.
Going well. Now, you've got the nose ring, which interests me, Peter, because I know my daughter wants to get one and I'm worried about it.
Should be right, mate.
Should be right?
Yeah,
Doesn't hurt?
Nothing in there.
Let her get a
There at
few.
all.
No.
Hey, Dan, let her
You
go
can't
through
wear it on the
chat.
day of the game, though, can you?
Nah,
This
take her out for the
conversation's going to
games.
go anywhere.
Fair enough. Your season? Reasonable one. It was a good game of footy on the weekend too, wasn't it?
Yeah, good on the weekend. Good to have the young boys getting in there, and I think there's 10 goals, I think, from the 3 under-19s that we had in there, so probably the difference in the end. Got us a bit of speed.
And Clint Einsdale, been good?
Yeah, very good. Good with the young kids, giving them games without sort of burning them out up and down, and now he's sort of got a grasp on what we've got there, and look forward to next year.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that this afternoon. Knowing you're coming in, I thought I'll just watch a few of your highlights.
Geez, you do some good research, Cappy.
I was a bit quiet at Savo, so I was doing. Yeah. But and I got stuck into the game. It was a really good game to watch. It was pretty free-flowing, and the ball was moving really well. Those young guys are really good. Paddy Wilson, Tommy Finn, those guys look like they belong. And we were talking earlier about how they've just come in and come out. They haven't played too many senior games, but just enough to give them that taste of senior footy. And it must be a good feeling down there with all those young kids.
Yeah, especially just getting them coming through. Like Finney's probably one of the quickest blokes at the club, if not in the league. Yeah. So getting him, like, you can see his confidence sort of build throughout the year as well, like from his first game to the game he had against Coringal.
Yeah.
And then Buck's coming up and kicking 4 in his first game as a 17-year-old, I think. So
Amazing. Good's that.
It's good signs ahead, hopefully, for us.
It's like that with the young side too, and a first-year coach, because I reckon there's been a couple of 2 or 3 week stretches where I think, they're shot. I think you're going to go the other way, and then all of a sudden show a bit of character and win the game that you don't expect to win.
Yeah.
You're one of those middle sides that annoy the guts out of me, because you tip them one week and then they lose, and then you don't tip them and then they...
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But they've had you've had a heap of injuries too. Like it's crippled you at some stage, but that's probably created opportunity for a lot of those young guys.
Yeah, well, Terry obviously decided to destroy his knee round 1 about 10 minutes in. So
that was tough, wasn't it?
Yeah, so you lose one of your key backs, doesn't sort of help for the season, but that's probably helped the under-19s having him sort of full time.
Yeah. Sure.
And then, Gash in and out with sort of weddings throughout the year.
Bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, bar mitzvahs.
Junior footy.
5-minute hamstrings.
Hammies. Yeah, rock and roll lifestyle for Gash, isn't it?
Well, talking of the great Gash, he's retiring. How much will you miss him?
Yeah, we'll definitely miss him on and off the field, I guess. It's always good to have a beer with him and tells you how good he is. There's no shortage of that.
Only because when I've spoken to him, he seems like a shy retirement type.
I
don't know him as well as you know him, obviously, Peter.
It's it's hard to get him on the beers, but when you get him on the beers, he lets you.
So
you
it's
know.
worth it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good time.
Yeah, so he will be missed, but I mean, it does give opportunities for other players to come through, and you seem to have a good junior program in place. I mean, Terry Green's a legend around your football club, and to have him coaching the under-19s is certainly helping, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He's put in a ton of work with the young kids and starting to sort of show this year, and hopefully I think we've got 2 under-17s teams as well coming through the juniors as well, so we've got some good kids coming in to replenish the 19s, and the seniors and reserves should reap the benefits years to come.
Since you've had a few years off, we were talking earlier, you played in the 2016 flag and then travelled, and because of COVID, you've hardly played any footy in the last few years, so you'll be fresh. You'll be able to play a lot of footy with these 16 and 17-year-olds.
Well, that's the plan. Hopefully they can carry us old boys to another premiership before the time's done. So.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And what has Clint brought to the club that you felt you needed?
Not sort of being around, I guess, those 2 years. It's just sort of a bit of honesty, I guess, for some players. Fresh outlook, playing players probably where they sort of were pigeonholed before by certain coaches or this and that. So just a fresh outlook.
So you think he's sort of taken the attitude, it's not what you can't do, it's what you can do. Giving them a little bit more ownership, a little bit more positivity around the place.
Yeah, giving guys a bit more, giving them bigger roles maybe than what they didn't have, giving the young kids a go. And that's probably something we haven't had for a little bit either, the young kids coming through. So it's good to get them in there.
Peter Mawson is our guest from the Hastings Footy Club. GSA, Growth Syndicates Australia, the sponsor of our guests, helping you eliminate debt, consolidate debt and pay off the mortgage in around 5 years. Now, Hastings won't be in the finals, nor will Coringal, but they won a high-scoring match on the weekend. There were 32 goals kicked. As we look at the highlights, thanks to Frankston Jeep, 17-13, 115 to 15-9, 99. And did you think early days, Peter, it was going to be as free-flowing as it was?
Coming off a two-week lockdown, I thought footy was kind of done for the year for all us non-finals teams. But so there wasn't too much defence. I think everyone was just sort of not really defending and pushing up and down the ground. But it was pretty fast. I think everyone was gassed by half-time. So defence kind of went out the window. And
was it fun?
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. Playing on a good deck as well.
Fun. I watched a bit of your highlights, and you've grabbed one out of the middle, hit somebody on the chest, run past him, demanded the ball, then hit a guy in the goal square for a goal.
Yeah, well...
Player of the day, I reckon.
Wouldn't say I hit the bloke on the chest. I think
I had to dive a little bit. But
muff the kick a bit, but followed up.
It's funny you say that too with the preparation side of it, because sides that are sort of out of that finals contention, they would have sort of gone back and gone through the normal lockdown. Speaking to Joshy Beard and that at Langy, they did a full rehab session over that 2 weeks and trained harder than they probably trained when they were up and going and all together. So the differences between those, and it might factor in the last round, especially if you've got a side that's sort of making up the numbers and a side that's pushing for finals, you might see
definitely
some tilted results on that.
Did you feel sore after the game, Peter? Sore than you would with just one round remaining before the season ends?
Yeah, well, Coringal was a pretty hard deck as well, so the legs definitely felt it after that one.
Big ground.
At least the change rooms aren't as garbage as they used to be. They were rubbish.
They're very good.
They were the worst.
They no good?
Oh, they were the worst. They're like
they?
Chelsea's old rooms. They just turned off the hot water and just let you go. And
Well,
Yeah,
a
they
lot
were
of the
a
clubs
disgrace.
are very good
Cesspool.
now. Very, very good. Now, it was an interesting game because your team were able to kick a lot of goals in quick succession. You'd get behind but find some self-belief. I mean, Luke Hewitt continues to be an outstanding player for you, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Luke always gives you everything he's got each week, and he always gets a tag and this and that and finds a way to get around it.
Did he touch a ball on the weekend?
Yeah.
Did he? You went right, did he?
Well. Yeah,
did he?
Yeah.
Are you making that up or not?
No. But
I reckon
we
you're
saw
making
some
that
of the
up.
highlights there, and he played well. Nathan Gray had 29 touches for Hastings. Patrick Wilson kicked 3. Tom Finn, as we mentioned earlier, for Coringal. Sam Glenn, no Tom Curran Cabby, but he kicked 7.
Yeah, good
In an
player.
outstanding performance.
Our boy.
21 touches.
we own him. Yep.
And he was named our Frankston Jeep All-In Player of the Round. and Scott Jansen, who continues to have a great season.
I told you about him.
I know you did.
Yeah, I like him.
Yes, I know you think you're
But
right every time.
Sammy Glenn's our boy. Yeah.
And 10 clearances.
Sammy Glenn's our boy. 21 disposals, 7 goals. That is a day out.
Yeah.
That's Broomhead numbers.
That is. Oh, it's better than that.
Oh.
I haven't seen Broomhead kick 7.
But yeah, no,
They've
you
been
say
pretty
that.
competitive, Coringle, all year,
No,
haven't they?
they've been in middle of the road puke stuff that I hate selecting because you select them and then they lose and then
They've been a bit
you
better than
don't
that.
and then they win and they annoy the guts out of you. I hate them.
You've got to remember they lost a lot
Oh,
of players.
boo frickety who. I'm trying to do tips here. Show some consistency so I can actually pick you properly.
Well, I mean, I think we thought I'll talk to you because you talk more sense
Oh,
than me,
come on.
I know.
I think we thought that they were going to battle
Go make a
because we
cuppa.
weren't sure what the new players were going to bring after losing so many players who were part of that grand final side 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I reckon
You agree with me, don't you?
I sort of do it.
Yes.
But Dan, I'm going to back you up a little bit.
Thank you, Cappy.
I reckon they've been hard done by with injuries, and that's affected their performance. And they've had a lot of young guys coming up, and they've lost Curran. That was a big blow. He was flying, and they were winning some games, and they were doing okay. But now they're going to finish a bit lower than I expected, and I think in the end their season's going to be a bit disappointing.
I think it's a nothing year from. I thought they probably would have thought they were thereabouts. They're not going to play finals. They're not going to finish last. Theirs is more about consolidating and trying to sign those guys, especially Curran,
Definitely
Jansen,
Curran.
Sammy Glenn, who are all new players to the club. Make them your
And
cornerstone.
maybe try and
Pomeroy.
get a few of them back that
Yep.
they lost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, not so much
Well,
because they were all old.
But they've
so
got a
it
good
didn't
junior
matter.
program. So
Yeah, they do.
Well, they didn't have an under-19s this year, though.
Well, as long as YC don't steal them all like they normally do. So as long as they can keep their head above water and don't get you on the
As
go.
I say, Peter, this is a rubbish.
But I love Tommy Finn's game on the weekend because he's had 7 games and he's been averaging 9 touches this year. He's come out and had 24 and kicked 3. That's just one out of the box. So that's confidence that you take into next year. I was really impressed with that. And the thing that's impressed me with Hastings is each week there's different blokes popping up. It might be Foy, it might be Gray, it might be this, it might be that, whatever, Backman, it might be this. But it's all different. It's not your same 4 that are in the best every week.
Yep.
Which is good going forward, I reckon.
Yeah, it's good. I think everyone's sort of been moving around a bit. Like Foy's sort of been back. He's been through the midfield.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Vincent as well sort of tried forward, went back, and as soon as he goes back, like he's a much better player.
So Foy is he's predominantly a midfielder, but they push him back if someone's out or they need him down there, or is it the other way around?
Other way around. So playing footy with him the last few years, he's been a backman. He sort of started as a backman, half backman, and he's probably one of the fittest blokes at the club.
Yeah.
So sort of get him a run through the midfield and.
He can play.
Yeah, definitely.
What's Backman's nickname, Peter? Is it BTO? Backman Turner Overtime after the band from the 1970s?
I don't know.
Told you.
Bruce Wayne, it is.
I told you
what's that?
90s
Bruce
was,
Wayne.
90s
Tommy
was your last
Backman's
one.
he's probably the best bloke at the club with the messages saying that the traffic's bad and
Oh, you get them every day.
I'll be late. Always
Really?
working the other side of town.
That old chestnut.
Well, he, of course, came from the Southern Footy League. Clint Ironsdale knew him, didn't he? And got him down there.
Yeah, no, he's been good. He's good value around the club as well. That's another good thing. All the blokes that Clint's brought in have all been good blokes on and off the field as well. And, most of us all hang out sort of after the games and even in the off-season, majority of the core groups all together throughout the year. So it's much easier to play footy with those boys than, when you get a heap of ring-ins that don't hang around and
The old ring-ins.
Don't
The
care.
old
That's exactly what
ring-ins,
you
eh?
need. Now, Tom Hughes' heroics put Rye on the cusp
Here we
of
go.
finals.
Here we
It
go.
was a classic at RJ Rowley, again thanks
here
to
we go.
Frankston Jeep. The highlights, a snap at goal with late game heroics sealing the win. The lead changed hands at every break. Chelsea holding early ascendancy.
Was that a
Paul
barrel?
Rye slotted 3 in the second
He's
to take
kicked
the
that
lead
60
back
metres.
by the goals. And then they outscored the D's in the third, with Tom Hughes putting the team on his back, kicking the sealer late in the last minute. A contested mark deep in the forward line among the 5 goals that he kicked.
Benny
And there he
Hill
is,
show.
number 44. Hughes was pivotal to the Demons' win. As I say,
Oh, there
kicking
he is.
5
Is
of
that
the
a-
best on ground
Oh,
performance,
Jesus.
including
Not a
an
bad snag.
electric
That's a
goal
good
on the
snag.
run in the second quarter. It's a great snag. Thank you, Chris, for talking over me.
Sorry, mate.
Well, Matt McIndoe featured, and both Matt Hill and Nick Strickland had
There he is
24
again.
touches apiece. What a season those two are having. Jack Francis kicked 3 goals for the Gulls. Dave Barton named their best
Oh,
as the leading
really?
disposal getter on the day with 34 touches and 7 tackles. But they are shattered. And Cappy, Chelsea should be shattered. It was probably one they were favourites in, but Rye seemed to want it more.
As Hulk said earlier, congratulations to Rye. They've done the job.
Well done.
They won the early games, banked those, which were really important.
Beat some of them twice.
Yep, that's huge. How huge are those wins? And now they're on the cusp of playing finals. It's up to them next week. They've got to get the win.
Sorry, just on that. You know what the gutsy thing was about that? They won that first 4 and went 4 and zip. They lost their next 4 in a row. So they've lost Mornington, Seaford, Hastings, Langy, bang, 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 bang. You could drop your head in that situation. They gutsed it out.
No, what a great group. They've got a bit of belief, and I'm wrapped for them.
Yeah.
It's a great effort, and it shows him, it's really important to win all those early games. To get those 4 wins has set them up, and they did have that, lapse, but they were playing all the top teams.
Yep.
But they've come back and got themselves now in a position where all they have to do is, or when I say all they have to do, but they have to get a win. But if they win, they're in.
It's in their own destiny now.
Yep.
I mean, they don't have to rely on other results.
No.
I mean, Devon have to rely on Coringal beating Rye, and they've got to win by around 33 points to get in to make up the percentage break, which is around 3%. So it all rests on Rye's shoulders. So it'll give them confidence. And being able to come, Chris, from behind in a situation like that, Chelsea be devastated again. They miss too many shots, and again they seem to rely on too few, don't they?
Yeah,
It's been their issue all year.
Yeah, it's always a good sign when you're coming from behind. But I think I talked about last week with Barton 34 flying the flag. He's a gun. And it's been too few all year.
Yeah.
And whenever they've had a decent side that they've played, Barton, Gardner, Zane, Carter and Fozzie have been their only ones that have stood up. And I was looking today and I'm going, no. And Curtis is probably a buy. Look, I like Curtis. He's great. The King, great. But you're looking at it against the top 5 sides, he's had 5 games and kicked 5 goals. He's averaged 1. Against the bottom for other sides, he's had 8 games and kicked 34, averaging 4.5. That's a massive difference, and that's why you're not winning your games. So they need to... I don't know how Chelsea are going to go with next year, whether or not they're going to keep Barton hanging around, if Fozzie's going to go another year at Chelsea. I'm a little bit worried about it.
Younger kids.
Well, I'm a little bit worried about Chelsea for next year. They want to get on their bike and make sure everyone's tied up because they've been really disappointing because they've had some good players and they haven't done anything with them.
No, that's right. And the difference between their best and worst, as we keep saying,
Huge.
There is a massive, massive gap. Now, Rye...
Like your car, mate. There's holes in it everywhere.
Absolutely. Rye've got a couple of injuries. Michael McGowan back is gone for the season, you idiot. Mitch Glenn has had plantar fasciitis, one of their key midfielders. He's been out for 8 weeks. Now, our injury update brought to you by Anytime Fitness. He is available to play this week. He played reserves last week, so that is good news for the Rye Footy Club. Now, Lang Warren dismantled the Dogs at Alexandra Park in GameFace's match of the day. At quarter time, Langy were up by 4 points. Again, we have a look at the replay,
there we go.
thanks to Club Zone and also Frankston Jeep. And then, after quarter time, we saw one of the best quarters of footy that we're ever likely to see. 9 goals in a row. 9
Put some
goals
mayo
in
on
a row.
that.
What a well, they
Ever?
were. How good were
Ever?
they? Certainly this
Give me
year
a
anyway.
spell,
I
Dan.
didn't say ever likely to see, and I should have said this
He actually
year.
did. Yeah, he did.
Well, I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, well,
Didn't you think it was
I
fantastic?
thought it was great. It was great. It wasn't the best ever, but it's great.
So a 9-goal-1 barrage before half-time. That left Mornington shaken. The Bulldogs kicked 5 goals in the third quarter, but the Roos continued to
I was
pile
happy with
on the
that,
pain
Paddo.
with an 85-point margin. The goals were shared around. Jet Murphy kicked 6. Matt Pineberg in his comeback game kicked 4. Josh Dormer 3. Andrew Arthur, Mulvogue and Biggs 2 each. Tuddenham, Churcher and Herdman got 1 each. Matt Norton had a season high. Listen to this. And we thought he'd have a lot of hit-outs. Chris Holcomb, you're a genius. He had 80 hit-outs, and you did say he had 80 hit-outs.
I said he had 80.
And earned man of the
I
match
said
honours.
he had 80.
Jackson Calder can hold his head high. 7 goals of his team's 11. Perry Lewis-Smith did try hard, had 24 touches alongside Jake Smart. That was probably the one issue with Langy. They need a tall defender, but Mitch Cuthbert, Cappy's coming back this week.
Yeah, you guys were there, so I'll leave it mostly to you. But I watched a little bit on the magnificent GameFace broadcast. It was fantastic.
Commentary
boys.
was fantastic, wasn't it?
Well, the broadcast was good, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Captain.
But
I
plus
think he
seven.
deserves an under-19s and a new MPNFL extra show as well.
Oh well, I missed that
thanks
one,
for
but
that.
I'll get to it.
Thanks,
The
I'm sure you will.
Can't watch
the
all
thing,
though.
the thing that stands out about this is we've got 1 versus 2, and an 85-point differential. We've got a team that has plus 72 disposals. There's a huge difference between Langwarrin and the rest if they're playing their best footy, and it's up to Langy now to just, they're going to be their own worst enemy. They've just got to make sure.
Destiny's in their own hands.
Yeah, they've got to make sure they keep a lid on it. Anything can happen in finals, but you look at that performance, and you just have to say they're the team to beat, obviously, and if you're going to play them in finals, you've got to bring your best. The Norton, it was plus 71. So Norton's had 80. So he's lost 9 hit-outs. And they had 23 to advantage. So that's a huge advantage and helps, you know it as a midfielder.
Yeah,
if you're getting the ball in your hands 23 times, you're going to be pretty happy. So it was a great performance by him. And Murphy with 5 goals is pretty handy.
Now, you've played them, Peter. What did you think, Langy?
Yeah, they probably didn't play their best footy against us. Definitely probably dominant through the midfield and the ruck sort of contest. But yeah, they're beaten sides and continue to win, so it's theirs to lose.
Well, they've been outstanding. Murphy and Painberg, just sort of the icing on the cake for them, aren't they, Hogs?
Yeah, they are. Look, the only and I said it from the start of the year, and this is just they're getting toward finals, and like Baggers. Baggers was only in second gear up to now, and now he's starting to crank up. They've just got McGuinness back. He was clearly best on ground the first half. Jed Murphy, he kicked 5, gassed it out in the first half. Then Painberg didn't have any touches in the first half, and then kicked 4 in the second. Big Red, 80 hit-outs. They broke even in the first quarter and a bit, Mornington in the midfield, but then they started getting on top. How long do you hold it back for? So, yeah, the only thing that will stop Langy now is the head wobbles. And the Jacko kicking 7 as well in a losing side that only kicked 11.
Yeah, great performance.
But Langy's full back was out. Cuthbert was out.
Okay.
So, even though Mornington said they had a few out, they've got their defender who's on the bloke who's kicked 7 out of 11 to come back through. So,
no excuse.
Yeah, it's only, and look, and don't get me wrong, Langy are confident as guts. Like, I just hope they don't get the Sereno head wobbles.
Would they be too confident?
Well, that's what I'm
Or are they
saying.
just
That's what I'm saying. The only thing that's going to
quiet
stop.
about
No, the only thing that's going to stop them is themselves, basically. And we've seen that with Sereno when they lost to beat Germana by 70 points in a second semi down at Rye, and then turned around and Germana beat them 2 weeks later by 5 points with a completely different game plan in different conditions. That can happen. They just can't get the head wobbles, Langy.
Now, in regard to Mornington and injuries, Will Goosey available this week, Lockie Susovic available this week, Gorka Test could play seconds, and Chris Baker, incredibly, will play in the seconds with that arm injury. It's not quite 100%.
He'll be right, mate. He'll be right.
But he's as
tough as nails, Bakes.
You need another insider. Oh, they need another insider, Mornington, don't they? And he's the one that'll help Speedy. And
100%.
That's been their issue all year. They've got the good outside runners who use the footy pretty well.
Bigsy played well on speeds on the weekend.
He's fantastic. I interviewed him afterwards. He's a shy, retiring type.
Oh, he looks it.
When you talk to him.
Yeah, no. He's a good
He doesn't have
bloke.
any tats on his legs.
He's a good bloke,
tats,
Bigsy.
Peter, on his body than I've ever seen him alive.
He did a very good job on Saturday.
He did a very good job.
Very good job.
And he kicked a couple of goals as well.
Speedy's been in good form, so it was a good move.
No, he did well.
He was pretty sore, wasn't he, when we spoke to him after?
Speeds or
Speedy.
Bigsy?
Speedy.
Yeah, well, he would have been after
doubt.
Bigsy gave him a run over.
Now, Devon Meadows fall out of 5th after another disappointing day, but they have so many injuries. Only had 14 of their regular senior players to choose from. They haven't
That
play
hurts.
a lot of kids. They got more injuries again. They're in danger of missing finals, having been in the top 5 for most of the year. They were beaten comfortably by Seaford. Now a 4-2 third quarter saw the Tigers start to pull away after a reasonably even first half. It was only a 9-point buffer at half time. And in the end, it was an outstanding performance as the Panthers only kicked 1 goal in the last term. For Seaford, Chris Butner kicked 4 goals. Tim Broomhead was again among their best with a solid 36 disposal game. Devon named Alex Carnell as one of their best, along with Aaron Johns with 29 touches. and Stefan Baumgartner kicked 2. Now, on the injury front for them, Joel Hillis, ankle season. This is Devon. Pat Boland, broken hand season. Lockie Batten, PCL knee season. Will Mace, hamstring indefinite. Riley Thorpe suffered a collarbone injury on the weekend, and he's gone for the season. Lachlan Moss, hamstring, also gone for the season, and indefinite for their undersized but gallant ruckman Braden O'Toole with a groin injury. Pretty hard there, Cappy, when you lose players of that ilk.
Yeah, that's really hard for the coaching panel to have all those guys out. But, they've had a great year. They're still in the hunt. So, they're not out of it.
Amazing.
So anything can happen, but they'd have to play better than they did on the weekend. It's going by all the stats and the score. They got a thumping. 70 points is a real thrashing. Seaford dominated all stats, and it was 62 more disposals, 24 more inside 50s. They're the stats that tell the difference. And Racing continues on. Your favourite?
Raceho. I love him.
Yeah, he's
a
kicked at 28 and 2 goals.
Braun, again, 20, he's a good player.
So they're a good team, Seaford.
Seaford's issue for me, can they beat the top 2? I'm sure they can.
Yeah, I reckon they're more of a chance to beat Langy than Mornington are.
If they can get Mitch White into the team, like for finals, that could throw a real spanner amongst it. And
he won't play.
Yeah, well,
he
Casey,
won't play.
You never know because the VFL's up in the air. So
you need 3 to qualify.
In regard to
he's played more than 3.
Yeah, he hasn't.
For Anytime Fitness, Zach Vansittart of Seaford said that they've got about 5 players I think will return this week. I think Rourke Fisher has had a lot of issues with injuries.
Awesome.
He's about 1 or 2 away and should come back if everything's okay. That having maybe for the first week of the finals, if not the first week of the finals, the second week of the finals.
You could probably just rest them this week, I reckon. Old Seaford.
You reckon?
Rest a few blokes, yeah.
Yeah. And get them ready.
Get them down to Hastings.
Langy. That's what you want, Peter. Don't you have a win?
Yeah. I'm going, who have they got?
Yes, of course they got Hastings.
Love your work.
If you guys win this week, you'll be out of the 5 by 1 game.
Yeah,
a couple of things just went against you.
Yeah, COVID, missing those 2 games with COVID probably didn't help us. And
who'd you
play?
I think we missed. We ended up missing.
Just say Kribby and Tyab.
We did miss Kribby, and I think we might have missed Langy as well. So
that's a trade-off. That's a trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, you're not far away. So, but I mean, it happens in all seasons, isn't it? There's always a game or 2, guys, isn't there? That if you miss out in the finals, you think, if only we won that, or if that result had gone our way. But you're right. I don't know what Seaford will do, but Langy's the other one. Will they rest, or because they're not playing until the second semi, Hulks, do you think they were just about... Obviously, Cuthbert has to play, needs to get a game under his belt. Would they give a few guys a rest?
They finished top.
Yeah.
It's a huge advantage. They can go into the second semi. They're 1 win away. Well, after this week, they'll finish top. You're 1 win away from a grand final.
Yeah, but you'd play because you've got that rest week. So you'd play your players. They've got 5 players in their 2s that are 1s players. Their 2 side would beat most Division 2 senior sides. They had Parker, Brown, all those guys. They're all playing in the 2s on the weekend. So you look at their 2 side and you go, do what you want, boys.
But I wouldn't imagine they'd rest.
Well, they've got McGuinness hasn't had footy. Yeah, they'll play.
But they've had it, and don't forget they've had a couple of weeks off just recently.
They'll play.
Their percentage in the reserves is 450%.
Oh, that's handy, isn't it? That's handy.
Never seen anything like it.
It's like your percentage at the nightclubs, mate.
No, it's not. No.
Jag 4 a night.
Mine is naught. Around the grounds. What's the old saying? You go out with plenty of money, you come home with a patch in your tie like Bert Bryant and Bill Laurie always said when he shared a room with Graham McKenzie in the 61 Tour of England, Cabby. Bill was on his first Tour of England and Graham McKenzie was a 19-year-old, strapping young boy from Perth, and he said we'd go out together. Garth would come home with plenty of women and I'd come home alone, and then I would go in front of the mirror and I'd practice my shot. Forward defence, forward defence, forward defence. That's what he used to use at all the sportsman's nights. The Phantom, one of the all-time greats.
You are an idiot.
No, I am an idiot.
No, I told you before we started.
Nothing
stop that garbage stories that you go on about. No one cares.
Yeah, I think they do.
Nah.
Do you care, Peter?
That was rubbish.
Sorry, Cabby.
Thanks, Peter.
All right, mate.
Around the grounds, I'll have you back though. Around the grounds, Tyab have likely secured another wooden spoon with a disappointing 47-point loss to Crib Point. Cribby's second win of the season. Now, I've said in my preview for our record this week that maybe the break was the best thing for Cribby because they were starting to struggle and they've had the week off and they've done really, really well. They led at all changes and they had a 9-goal second half, which confirmed the result. For the home team, the Magpies, Miles Shepherd was best on with 3 goals, 29 possessions. Kevin Vanderberg kicked 5. Jacob Cook had a game-high 10 rebounds from defensive 50. For the Abbies, Brad Williams kicked 4 from 20 touches. Ethan Rahali, who won that best and fairest by a country mile, had 25 possessions. And Josh Riddle kicked 3. So first time they've played each other. A bit of an anomaly in the draw because of what's happened with COVID, but good win by Cribby. And I reckon, guys, they deserved it. They had a couple of ordinary weeks before the enforced lockdown, but that's a nice win.
I picked Tyab, so you can go and get stuffed, Tyab. That's the last time I pick you all year. Just one time.
You said that with some conviction too last week.
I did, and that's why I was dirty on him, so they can go get stuffed.
It was a great win by Cribby.
I love Cook's game from Cribby, and if you have a look at his last 5 weeks, he's been really good.
Got some good young kids.
Yeah, they have.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, no, they'll be all right.
Is that 43 hit-outs by Cook? Did I get that right?
That's No. Oh, it might have been James Cook. Not anyway.
James Cook.
How'd you go against Cribby?
Yeah, we were all right against Crib. I think we ended up beating them comfortably in the end.
Yeah.
8 or 9 goals. But
and the Abbies? Nip.
Yeah, the Abbies, we always seem to have terrible conditions and they seem to get a sniff at half time and
really?
Put that to bed.
Mm.
But Crib are good. They got a lot of good young kids.
Yep.
They were good in the first half, sort of against us, and then probably just faded away in the second half.
There's a bit of a good feeling around Crib.
Yes, I think Steve Hamilton did a very good job with that team.
Well, he's hanging them up.
Is he?
They announced a new coach today, and I can't remember the name. Their assistant coach.
You're not pulling the boots back on Cap.
Gilmore. And is it Andrew Gilmore from Red Hill? Yes. He coached Red Hill. They were undefeated in 2018 and all under 19.
He coached Red Hill under 19 for 7 seasons.
Yeah, he did a great job.
He's a good bloke.
Yeah,
so
happy.
He takes over next year. So
well done.
Well done to Steve Hamill. We thank Steve for all his help and his assistance, and all the second division clubs for providing us with information on the injuries for Anytime Fitness. And it's been a tough old year for Cribby, but I reckon they've improved, and Andrew Gilmore takes over a team that's on the rise. Now, Somerville can officially celebrate a finals berth. They defeated Pearsdale by 10 goals at home. Pearsdale were held scoreless until the second quarter. Luke Daniel had a set shot from 40, kicking their first goal in the second quarter. It was a game where the margin doesn't reflect on the stat sheet, possessions being even throughout the day. It was reported that Pearsdale held the ball often but were hesitant to press forward, preferring to chip it around their defensive half for much of the match, with 16 back 50 turnovers accounting for the result, thanks to Premier Data, have done a great job this year. Nick Mason was best on for the Eagles again with 19 touches, while both Lockie Dobson, who's been a great pickup for them in the second half of the year, and Ben Sedgwick kicked 3 each. Jake Frawley had a team high 33 disposals for the young Pearsdale team, while Kyle Vanderplume and Blake Eklund reached 30 as well. Spoke to Justin Hamilton, the coach of Pearsdale, and he just said there may have been a little bit of a lack of interest, and you can understand that late in the season. Cappy, not sure whether you're going to play again, knowing you can't play finals, but they've got one more game to go, and they wouldn't want to ruin all their good work with 2 poor performances in the back end of a season where they've been one of the big improvements.
No, they wouldn't. They should be really happy with their season, and that would have been a disappointing. Like, I looked at the stats that you mentioned. They weren't much different. The stats were very similar, which was in a game where there was, a 40 or 50 point difference. But Pearsdale, they've got a lot to look forward to for next season, and they'll finish it off next week, and not let down don't let themselves down for what they've done so far. Somerville, they did what they had to do. They've, as you said, they're in the finals. They're going to have a big say in what goes on in the next few weeks, and it'll be interesting to watch them.
It will be fascinating because they're likely, well, if Rye hang in there, they get Rye in the first week, and Rye beat them twice.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, I find that humorous.
Do you?
Nick Mason, another.
Good year he's had.
I can't believe you haven't brought up the stat that I thought you would have flat out, because he had 19 touches, which isn't high. 94% efficiency. Can you work that out?
That's pretty good.
So that'd be 17 of his 19 possessions have gone to a teammate.
17, you reckon? Were you good at school at maths or not?
Wasn't bad.
Yeah? You don't reckon it was 18 out of 19?
Might have been 18 out of 19. It was 18 out of 19,
it was
was
18
it?
out of 19.
Okay, well,
Not
I'm
bad.
not that good.
Not
then.
bad.
I'm not the Forrest
17
Gump
or
of
18 is
maths.
pretty good. You were good at arithmetic.
Yeah, very
I
good.
was good at arithmetic, and
Oh,
then
here
when
we
it
go.
came to
Hang on.
geometry and algebra, I was no good.
Right.
Absolutely no good.
Rightio.
Now, our guest tonight, Peter Mawson from the Hastings Football Club. Thank you, boys. Growth Syndicates Australia sponsoring our guests as they have all year, helping you eliminate debt, consolidate debt, and pay off the mortgage in around 5 years. Now, the run home.
You didn't want to hear my summary of
Yes,
some of
yeah, go on, go on.
get
No,
stuff.
no,
Get on with
I'm
your
happy to
stuff.
hear it.
No,
I'm
no,
happy to hear
I
it.
don't want to hear it anymore.
Can
No.
they win it, Summy?
Get on with it.
Chris, can
Yeah,
they win it?
Yes.
They can, if
They're the-
everything goes right.
Well, they're the only side that can beat Langwarrin.
Yes, well, the only team that have beaten Langwarrin.
Right
Now the run home. Rye, if they win, finish fifth, take on Somerville in an elimination final at Greg Beck Oval, and we will get to the finals venues in just a second. If they lose, they need Devon Meadows to lose or need Devon Meadows to win by less than 6 goals. Now, it's a 3% difference, guys. It's around 33 points to be absolutely precise.
So you can do the swing as well. So not only do they have to win by 30 if Rye get done by a considerable margin, then they just have to sneak and hold on.
For Devon Meadows, they need Rye to lose and need to win by 6 goals. If they lose, they're eliminated from contention.
Well, it's a thrilling last round, isn't it, Dan?
It's fantastic.
You know what the joker is in that pack? Chelsea, because they're rubbish, because you don't know if they're going to win or lose. That's what annoys me.
They could come out and
They
smash
come
it.
out and smash them by 20 goals.
They could.
Or they can lose by 20 goals. So they're going to stuff up everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my selections this week are going to be tough.
Well, if you are a determined football club and you've got pride, and Peter would understand this, knowing you're playing for pride this week, you would go out and play the best football you possibly can.
Well,
We know Chelsea have got lots of talent.
But they're human, mate. They're human and they have human thoughts. So you would think that, but
A lot
who
of guys,
knows?
a lot of guys are going out. It's been a short season. They'd be,
Love to
this is their
check
last
out.
game. I reckon most blokes would be pretty keen to have a good hit out for the end of the season and finish it off in style.
I reckon they'll check out. No,
Yeah.
I
Can
Devon
you-
will smash them.
Are you looking forward to the last game, Peter? Can't wait for the last game.
Yeah, definitely. It's always better tipping a few in after a win.
Yeah.
So
The final
exactly.
siren's
Correct.
always fantastic.
That means having a few drinks after a win, Peter. Is that right? Tipping? Yeah. I'm too old for comments like that, but thank you very much. Now, the venues have been decided for first and second division. In second division, the qualifying final on Saturday, the 14th of August, at the Rowley Reserve, which is Rye Football Netball Club. Sunday, Baxter Park, Frankston Bombers will get the elimination final, which is interesting that a first division club gets a second division final. I think we've seen that a bit in the first division finals, which we'll talk about later. Now, Saturday the 21st of August, and this is where some of the presidents are up in arms. Even though I reckon it's very good for football because we know what a great venue it is, and it is the piece de resistance in regard to football venues on the peninsula. The second semi will be played at Skybus Stadium, which is Frankston Park, Frankston, and on Sunday, Chelsea at Beardsworth Avenue will get the first semi-final. You don't agree with that, Hulks?
That wasn't me, that was Cappy.
It was you.
got
The
it.
preliminary final will be at Olympic Park, Rosebud, and of course the grand final Saturday the 4th of September, the first week of the AFL finals, as it always is now that we've got the bye, is the Skybus Stadium, as it always is every year. What do you think about that? I mean, I'm not really in favour of having second division finals at first division venues.
I don't see the problem with that. Both teams haven't played at that ground, so there's no.
So it's a neutral venue.
It's a neutral venue.
Yeah.
I think it's better to have a first division ground for second division sides as a neutral, and flip it around for the Division 1 teams as well.
You have a good ground, Peter, don't you? I mean, I don't know why Hastings has never used that much. Is it a good ground?
Is that a cricket pitch at centre half forward that you fall over all the time?
big
That's why.
yeah,
It's a bit skewy, isn't it?
pre-season it looks fantastic.
It does.
This time of year she gets pretty boggy.
Does she?
Yeah. We've had
The drainage is
finals
not
that-
brilliant?
No, drainage is shot.
Right.
They definitely need to do something about that because
Yeah.
the flanks are ankle-deep mud
Right.
sort of this time of year.
Although your background's probably better than what Chelsea is at the moment. So.
Because Somerville's actually pretty good too, Hulks, but maybe they haven't gone there because of the fact that they're a chance of playing in some of the finals.
I understand because they need a netball centre there, so have the football and netball together, but they need to be played on the best grounds regardless of Div 1, Div 2. Rye, immaculate, amazing, great. Good theatre and atmosphere.
It
like
is.
Somerville.
The amphitheatre.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
But Somerville's the same, even though it's a smaller ground. It's got really good atmosphere. Chelsea, just throw that in. That's just yuck. But yeah, as long as it's good atmosphere and it's good ground and can have a good contest, I'm happy to play anywhere, Div 1, Div 2.
Can you understand, though, the frustration that the presidents are having and the netballers are having that they can't play together?
Well,
And do you think we need a
who's to say
netball
that-
court
who's to say
at
the netball
Sky
team-
Bus Stadium? And do you think that would ever happen? If you think we do
who's
need to have
who's
one?
to say that Hastings make the finals and their girls make the finals as well? So it doesn't mean anything.
Nah.
No, but
It's
I
rubbish.
still think it's good in a competition that have a football netball club that they are playing at the same venue for the grand finals.
No, you play every single game that you possibly can at Skybus
Yes.
Stadium in the finals, regardless. Any day that Div 1 can't get on that, Div 2 play, and vice versa.
I agree.
Play there.
This is the second last week of the most valuable team, controversial most valuable team for the Frankston
We
RSL.
haven't done
Proud
it for 5
sponsor of
weeks.
local footy and game change. Haven't done it for a while.
No.
But it's still the second last week. Go through the team for us, Hulks.
All right. Yeah, I had to dive back through because I haven't done it for so long. It's been a bit strange. But anyway, backline hasn't changed too much. We've got one entry there. So we've got Stricko, Kay McKenzie, who was in the best on the weekend. Zane Carter, another 30. Timmy McGuinness comes in for his first trot this year. He was best on ground on the weekend. Rowie, best defender in Div 2. Well, he was going to be out for a little while, but he was back last week.
God, you love that bloke, don't you?
He does love him.
Or if you can name me another
just saying.
key defender in Div 2.
Mitch Cuthbert, when fit.
Yeah, he's not playing. But
He's
anyway.
playing this week.
But yeah. And then Nick Mason, obviously.
Paul Rogash.
Good
on
back
back
line.
Plays forward now most of the time and tries to snag goals.
Good backline. Good backline, Sammy.
Yeah, see, I don't do what Cappy does and just go off reputation. I actually pick on form, so that's.
Is Nick
difference
Strickland a
between
better
us.
defender than Luke Rowe? Different sort of defender.
Different. Goes and hunts a
Okay.
ball. Rowie will
Right.
shut down. Stricker
Okay.
can't play in a colder.
Nick Tuddenham, better defender than Luke Rowe?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Midfielders, Dave Barton's back in there. Matty Norton in the ruck. He was look. I could probably put in another ruckman, but his 80 probably got me over the line this week. Zach Antwerth and Blake Peach make up that midfield. Nath Gray on the wing. I've been a fan of his all year. He's back in after his 30. Nick Braun. He's had a really impressive year. He sneaks under the radar because of Broomhead, but he's a really good player. Forward line. Sammy Glenn's back in.
Yes.
Our Sammy Glenn.
Yeah.
Our Sammy Glenn. Timmy Broomhead, Jake Frawley, who I'm a massive fan of. How good's Chad Mulvogues here going?
Yeah.
Playing more as a
every
midfielder,
week.
but he's still.
He's
how quick is he? He's a very good player.
He's quick. Put the Jets on.
And they've got so many options as small forwards that he can go in the midfield now.
There's not many forwards that'll kick 7 in a losing side this year, and Jacko was able to do that. And I was going to leave him out, but I had to put him in, Tommy Hughes. So we appreciate the feedback, and that person who said they were going to burn down the studio if we didn't put Tommy Hughes in. You got your wish. Usually what I'd do, I'd be really petty and leave him out and just hang it on you, but he deserves it because that was a
threat
crunch
of violence
time.
was a
But
bit
we
good.
mightn't be here tomorrow.
Crunch time, and well done, Tommy. Interchange Bents, Ishak Bashir, Scotty Jansen again, Jacob Cook for the first time this year for
Well
Cribby, and his last 4 or 5, if you have a look at it, he's been really good, averaging 30, and Matty Hill sneaks in for another 30 possessions.
We'll have the last second
Been good.
division most valuable team next week for Frankston RSL. Nathan Gray, fine player, isn't he, Peter?
Had a good year.
just Hard at it, fit, uses the ball well. Like best player on our side by a mile, I reckon.
Oh, Rogash
Playing
is
again
just
for you?
turning his grave.
Playing again for you next year?
He spat it.
Yeah, I believe so.
Who's your tip for the BNF at Hastings?
Oh,
It'd
great.
be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grey
no
by a
worries.
mile.
It's been good.
We'll get on him.
Sorry, mate, I've been following Casey. It's grey by a mile.
Well, let's get on to the tips now. Thanks to Telstra Business and Technology Centre of Melbourne South and Gareth and the team. G'day to them. And the team at Telstra Business Technology Centre Melbourne South is helping local businesses turn technology into opportunity. Go to tbtcmelbsouth.com.au to find out more. Call 1300 669 103 to chat to the team today. Not one person backed Ryan, while Cappy is the only one to tip Hastings. Sorry, Peter. We'll start with Coringal and Rye. So much resting on this game. The game is at Coringal. They do play reasonably well at home, and they were at home again, of course, last week. What do you think, Cappy?
Rye got way too much to play for here. Coringal might want to spoil the party, but I don't think they've got the cattle. I think Rye for me.
Yeah, no, going to be a really good game. And if there wasn't so much on the line, I'd probably lean toward Coringal. But hats off to Adam Kirkwood too. Great coaching performance this year.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of injuries. They've been in the middle of the road, lost 4 in a row. So character that his team's shown and the way he's led that team, well done. Adam, I think you're fantastic. And I'll tip Rye this week.
Ready to end a 7-year finals drought when they made a preliminary final with a very, very good side.
Yeah, good luck,
Peter, who do you like there?
I'll give it to Coringal.
You just want to shoot down the party.
He's just thrown the hand grenade in. Peter Mawson, our guest, thanks to Great Syndicates Australia from the Hastings Footy Club. Yeah, I think that Rye will get the job done. Should be a pretty tight match, though. Chelsea and Devon Meadows. Now, I think Devon can win. I'm worried about or concerned about what sort of mindset Chelsea will bring to the game. You hope there's plenty of pride. I know Devon have a lot of injuries, playing a lot of kids now. It's been tough for them. They lack a little bit of depth. They've had a very, very good year. They'll probably rue the Pearsdale loss when they had a lot of injuries as well, but I still think that they can win this, but it won't be enough.
Chelsea, as we've been talking about, if they bring the right attitude and everyone's on fire, they could win this comfortably.
Been saying that all year.
And Devon, I reckon, are limping away at the moment with the injuries. I'm going to go Chelsea in this one.
Oh, God. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Devon Meadows a favour. This is what I'm going to do. Because if I tip Devon Meadows now, you know what Chelsea are going to do? They're going to come out and steamroll Devon Meadows, all right?
Yep.
So what I'm going to do, Devon Meadows, I actually want you to win this game of football. So what I'm going to do is tip Chelsea, because they're going to let me down again because their bag's full of it, and I'm going to have you win the game.
Even though there's some lovely people at Chelsea, including Sean Foster and Curtis
I like
Bywater.
them, but their team's been letting me down all year. So I'm going to tip Chelsea for Devon Meadows to win.
But who do you think really is going to win?
I have no idea.
What do you think, Peter?
I'll give it to Chelsea this one, I reckon.
It's going to be a very interesting game. And,
they're definitely going to lose.
If Coringal are up on Rye, Devon will be, and then get away from them, Devon will just be looking at trying to win by 5 goals or more. But there's a lot to be played for yet before we get there. A lot to be played out yet, I should say. Tyab and Mornington. Now, Mornington will get a few back this week, as we mentioned earlier in our injury update for Anytime Fitness. This will be an opportunity for them just to fine-tune themselves for the finals.
So in their last meeting, which was 106 years ago.
Yeah, I played that day.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 106 years ago was the last time they played at Tyab, and Mornington got the points, and I think that they'll win this one as well.
How many goals has Jack on for the year?
69.
Yeah, he's a chance to get his 100 this week. He's very close.
Sorry, Tyab. No, Tyab will be more competitive.
Oh, he can't kick 31. Come on.
Well, it'll be one of the
John
great
has-
performances.
John has
There'll be
the
people well, they
Do you have a
can't.
slab on it?
There'll be people everywhere trying to tune in.
Do you have a slab on it?
No, I'm not. No, I don't, because I don't believe in betting, except
okay.
on the Melbourne Cup.
Even a Monty like that?
No, I'm not going
Okay,
to.
Mornington just over the line.
Mornington easily for me.
Yeah, Mornington as well, I reckon.
Crib Point hosting Somerville to end the season, and some of you have had a reasonably good draw to just again get their players fit, get players back. Those that can come back, they've got a huge injury list, but they're getting a few senior players back. Zane Martin's another one that could return this week. They're looking okay going into the finals. Cribby will give a good account of themselves, but I still think Summy will win quite easily, boys.
Yeah, it's a nice one. I think Crib Point will give Summy a good hit out, and Summy will roll into the finals with a big win.
Yeah, with Summy.
Yeah, Sammy.
Pearsdale and Langwarren. Now, Langy, we think won't make too many changes to their team. And, how do they play this? Obviously, they'll just play the way they normally play. Pearsdale would love a much better performance than last week, because that's not the real Pearsdale that we've seen for most of the year, that big thrashing they received last week.
Langy don't want to muck around with anything. You just want to make it as normal as possible, and they'll have the week off after by finishing top. So this is an important game for them to make sure they fine-tune themselves, and they'll get the points.
Yeah, they'll play a bit of bruise-free footy on the weekend, and they'll get that win.
Peter?
Yeah, definitely Langy.
And why do you think that Hastings will beat Seaford, other than the fact that you hope that, or you're hearing that Seaford will rest a lot of their players? Even though I hear that they'll get 5 back this week to give them some game time before the qualifying.
No one enjoys coming to Hastings. I guess.
Ain't that correct?
Yeah. It's always a good game of footy when you come down there, so see what happens.
Especially kicking to the tree end where the breeze is. I've got a couple of games down there and pretty strong breeze when it's going.
Wind's always going on the pokies.
Yes,
Scotty Phillips always used to go down there because he was always on the pokes before and after the game.
What do you think, Seaford?
Seaford. Seaford.
Seaford.
So what did you win? Yeah, nah.
Yeah, Seaford.
Okay.
One of the
I'm
great
going-
expressions.
I'm
Isn't
going Seaford.
I reckon that's why Hastings junior footy program's so good, because when you go and sign in for the pokies, if you're a young single mum, underneath they've actually got a registration form for the junior footy club, so they actually have to go and play at Hastings.
There you go.
You reckon that's a good thing? Or?
Oh, I'm not sure it is.
Oh, I think it is. That's why they got something.
Were you
like
trying to
your
be
series.
funny?
No, I'm never funny.
Oh, no, you're not. Thank you to Peter Mawson, our guest from the Hastings
done,
Footy
Pete.
Club. Good luck in your last game of the season, Peter, and good luck to Paul Rogash. Let's hope you can send him off in fine style. What a legend of the competition he's been. And, of course, you guys were premiership teammates under Brendan Dunn back in 2016 when you beat the Frankston Bombers. And, of course, this week's show proudly brought to you by O'Brien's Real Estate with over 9 locations across the Mornington Peninsula. O'Brien Real Estate will be able to achieve the best price for your sale or rental, backed by a myriad of experience. Thank you, Tommy, for all your hard work. And enjoy your second division footy for those teams playing their last game on the weekend. And the netballers as well. Have a great final round. And always get your GameFace.